Have you ever seen those giant balls? Moto dork. So, it's another beautiful day here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and about 62 degrees, pretty close to perfect riding weather. So what do you say we go for a ride? I like that idea. It's a great idea. It's a fantastic idea. And let's take this road. So, in my last video, I talked at length, before having a delicious burger, about Star Wars. And you know, I watched that video, and after watching it, I thought to myself, there's still a few more things I want to say about Star Wars. Just a few more things. And I'm going to say them. I don't have any shame. I'm going to say stuff about Star Wars. My stuff. My own stuff. Something I wanted to say was, you know, when Lucas made, and I'm talking about George Lucas, you know, George Lucas of Star Wars, when Lucas made the first 3 movies, which were, of course, released in 77, 80, and 83, of the 19 variety. He didn't direct both movies. He only directed the first one. However, he wrote them all. He wrote all 3 of those movies. And, you know, he oversaw the direction of the second and third one. You know, he was there. So there really wasn't a time, even though he didn't direct the second and third movies, there really wasn't a time when he wasn't ultimately in control. And you know, McCollum, you know, in the supplemental material on the DVDs of the prequels, sure does like to talk a lot about George's vision, his vision. And I gotta say, I get really tired of hearing him talk about George's vision, but at the same time, he's right. I mean, these movies were the brainchild and creation of George Lucas, and nothing can take that away from him. I mean, yes, he has sold off pretty much all interest in this property, this gigantic, monolithic property that is Star Wars. But nobody can ever take away the fact that it's his. I mean, he made it. He willed it into existence. And if you know anything about the creation and the production of the first Star Wars movie, you know it was, to quote John Hammond, an act of sheer will. So, there's that. Now, The same thing can be said for the prequels, and actually even more so, because Lucas himself directed all 3 of those movies. He wanted total control. And I understand that. Did it feel like it was a detriment at the time? Yeah, it did. But as I said in my last video, in hindsight, I mean, I think they're fantastic. All these years later, I think they're fantastic. So, that brings me to episodes 7 and 8. You know, you've got episode 7 directed by, you know, one guy. You got episode 8 directed by another guy. You know, you got Kathleen Kennedy, you know, behind the scenes, but who really, truly is the Star Wars glue holding everything together? It's certainly not Lucas anymore. And to be quite honest, if it's not Lucas, is there really any glue holding it together? I don't think so. So, you know, what I'm trying to say here, the point I'm trying to get to, you know, the sheet I'm trying to crawl under, the mountain I'm trying to get on top of here, is what's going to unify these 3 movies? I don't know. I don't know if there is anything that's going to unify them. And to go even deeper, is there even a story? Is there even an end point we are moving toward that started at the beginning of episode 7? Was there ever a creative vision big enough at the onset of this trilogy that had a definite beginning, middle, and end? Or are we getting 3 separate movies that, in which each successive film is nothing more than the product of the last one? Now, if you can take my meaning. What I mean is, I don't know. Because it feels like there's a lot of just chaos surrounding these movies. You want to talk about people not getting along behind the scenes. You want to talk about reshoots. You want to talk about this and that. And then, you know, 2 different directors so far. I guess Abrams is doing the 3rd one. That's the last thing I've heard. And that's really, in my opinion, the only thing that's going to be redeeming about this. Maybe he had a vision all the way through. I don't know. If he did Rian Johnson's film muck all that up? I don't know. Did Abrams you know, make a movie, you know, with a vision, then Rian Johnson come in and make something that nobody even knew about, nobody expected, you know, like the Spanish Inquisition? I don't know. And now Abrams has to come in and say, well, I never expected any of that to happen. Now I got to do this. Now I got to change my original plan to line up with all this stuff. This stuff that really nobody ever wanted to happen. That's what I'm trying to say. And in the meantime, at the end of all three of them, we've got something that just seems discombobulated. If that's even a word. I mean, it's a word because I just said it. And it sure is a word that sounds like the point I'm trying to get across. Right? So this is why, one, I think the prequels are better than episodes 7 and 8, and two, why I'm scared going into the third movie. Whenever that's going to happen. I don't even know when it's going to happen. That sun is very bright. So anyway, I think that's about all I wanted to say. You know, I think that's about all I wanted to say about Star Wars. So, what now? What now? Right now, I'm just going to climb this hill. And now I have climbed the hill. And I know I'm going down the other side. So, yeah, I mean, I'm really worried. I'm really worried going into the third movie. I don't even know what to expect. Because where can this story go now? Now that everything that happened in episode 8 happened. I don't even know where we can go. I mean, I guess we could try to explore Rey's parents. I don't know. I'm not all that interested in it anymore. To be totally honest, I'm not really interested in seeing episode 9 now. And I feel like a heretic saying that. Is that the right word, heretic? Tell me if that's the right word. In the comments, I mean, if anybody cares. I hope you care. I want people to care. I guess I still had more to say about Star Wars, since I'm still talking about it. Apparently. There's some cows doing what they do. Eating food and chewing cud. That's what cows do. And they move sometimes when they feel like it. When they think other cows are listening. I think I need some new tires. Rear tire's feeling a little squirrely. A little squirrely. That old new tire, rear tire's feeling a little squirrely back yonder in the back. Need me some new tires. Yep. So sorry about, I mean, sometimes I have to sniff a little bit I've been like this my entire life. I broke my nose in grade school. I think it was third grade, maybe third grade. We were playing Red Rover. You all know how to play Red Rover. I don't have to explain that to you. You guys went to grade school, right? Tell me I'm right about that. Playing Red Rover, and Heath Alford and I were holding hands, and by God, if we didn't have to dare Billy Sims over, and he thought, I could tell by the way he was, you know, clenching his fists and running toward us, I could tell he really thought he was going to break free. That he thought he was going to break through my grip with Heath. But all of you need to understand that there probably has never been a time in Billy's life when he was more wrong. Because we didn't let go. We held on for dear life. Heath and I did. Yes, sir. And for a brief moment, I felt a sense of triumph that I had never experienced in my life. Now, I know all of you out there are familiar with Red Rover, but are you equally familiar with the pitfalls associated with playing this devil game? Well, let me tell you, we're not talking about Activision pitfall here. We're talking about real pitfalls. And the most important one, the most major pitfall, is this. Have you ever seen those giant balls that are on the end of a string, and there's a ring in the middle of the string, and the sole purpose of this foolish little thing is to make these balls clack together? Okay? You're familiar with this, right? And the more force you pull on this ring, the stronger the force is that makes these balls clack together. Well, imagine, if you will, the tiny cherub-like hands that belong to Heath and me joined together are like the ring of this ball game, the clack ball game. And imagine the balls of this clack ball game are my and Heath's heads. And the force that caused our heads to come together was exerted by Billy Sims. Yes, this happened. This happened to me, and no one can take that away from me. So our heads go together like two balls on the end of a string, and my nose was crushed by Heath's head. And let me tell you, it hurt. It hurt like the dickens. So, you know, I mean, I don't know for sure that I broke my nose because I don't think anyone took me to the doctor. All I know is, to this day, my nose is crooked. If you like look up, like you're trying to look inside my nose, which, you know, why would you want to do that? But if you did, you would see that it's crooked. Very crooked. So, since then, I've never been able to breathe through my nose well. I just can't do it. Everyone said that they were able to find me by following the blood trail. So, you know, they were able to follow the trail of blood. It's kind of gruesome sounding. You know. Anyway, that's what happened. That's why I can't breathe. That's why I sniff sometimes. I'm sorry about that. I just ask that you don't hold it against me. It's not really my fault. Wasn't expecting a train. But it's okay, because I know that, you know, business is on the move. You know, they gotta get this stuff on down the tracks. Where they're going, who knows? I don't know. Somebody does, though. Somebody knows. There's a truck behind me. See it? He thought he could sneak up on me. That's the end of the train. Oh, my Velcro again. Oh well. Sometimes I think it makes me look kind of funky. You know, like I'm wearing a pirate shirt or something. And I'm okay with that. Pirates are in this year, to quote a movie line. Sun's getting real low, big guy. I really do love Kentucky. It really is a beautiful, beautiful state. So, I don't know about you guys. I'm really looking forward to Game of Thrones. This is the last season coming up. I mean, it's October 22nd. And when does the new season start? January? Is it January? I think it's January. And I'm gonna just start talking about this like I know what I'm talking about. But if I'm wrong about anything, let me know. You know, if you care. But I think it starts in January, and from what I understand, each episode is going to be, I think, about an hour and a half long. Am I right about that? I think I am. I think I'm right about that. So I gotta say, it's some of the best television I've ever seen in my life. And I've been watching television all my life. And I really didn't think I would like it when I first started watching it. Because, first of all, I've never been the kind of guy who does something just because everyone else is doing it. I have to enjoy it. It has to be something that means something to me. And there was so much hoopla around this show, I couldn't bring myself to watch it because I didn't want to be, just like everybody else and like it because it's awesome and because everybody else likes it and, that sort of thing. But I watched it and really, really loved it. Just spectacular storytelling, great cinematography, interesting, fascinating characters who are played by very good actors. And actresses. And I really want to see where we go. I really want to see how all of this ends. I've got my ideas, none of which I'm going to mention here, but I have my ideas. So we're 3 months out from that, and that's kind of exciting. This is one of my favorite stretches of road, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to open up a little bit because I believe in being open and honest. Someone who was close to me lived right there. I'm not going to mention any names. Someone who was at different times very important to me. And I'm going to use this moment as a cathartic moment. Someone who at one time, at least one time, I felt like was the love of my life, lived there. You will never have met a more real, honest, beautiful, bubbly, soul than that person. She didn't take any crap. And she told you how things were every day of her life. And she is, without a doubt, the strongest woman I have ever known. She went through 3 bouts of cancer. And still was happy and loved life. But then cancer got her. God damn it. Now, for a while, we weren't friends. I'm glad we were, you know, at the end. That was a little over 2 years ago. And I miss her. And that's all I'm saying. I mean, if she can get through all that and still smile, I guess there's not really anything in my life that I can't get through either. So, I guess I needed to hear myself say that. So I'm glad I did. Anyway. Dogs. Black dogs. Hey, mama. I'm not going to sing. Sorry. I'm not going to sing. Oh, look, there's a Kawasaki meets Kawasaki. I'm going to pass you, buddy. So anyway, not to get too down, I am looking forward to Game of Thrones. I think it's going to be awesome. There was not one single episode I did not enjoy thoroughly. And of course, many I enjoyed more than others. Can we all agree that Arya Stark is 110% badass? And I believe she's going to end up owning everything. I hope. And I think I'm going to wrap things up because I think I'm done talking for a while. I'm going to go home, eat, pack up a suitcase, get ready for a trip. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to say so long. Adios, amoebas. Goodbye.